What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Unfortunately, there is going to be no Truck Series racing tonight or heat racing tonight, as unfortunately the Cup Series and Truck Series heat races have unfortunately been canceled, and the Truck Series race has been moved to after the Cup Series race. This truck race will take place at 9 p.m. Eastern. The Cup race is supposed to, I believe, start around 4 p.m. Eastern. I think they pushed that race back a half an hour. And unfortunately, it's because of Mother Nature. Unfortunately, rain has affected pretty much the weekend. This is something that we were expecting over the weekend that weather could have affected. The weather was looking better for earlier in the race, and it looked like we might have been able to get some racing. But once they went onto the racetrack, it was too muddy. The screens are too dark, basically, and they really couldn't see out of the cars. They tried to get a couple laps in for the heats, and Mike Marlowe was leading up to that point, but unfortunately, they could not complete tonight's race. I just want to say something real quick here. The people I feel really bad for are Ryan Newman and Jessica Friesen. It would have been really damn cool to see Jessica Friesen and Stuart Friesen race against one another, because they would have been the first husband-wife duo to race in NASCAR in 30 years, because back in 1991, Patty Moise and Ellen Sawyer, who were married at the time, raced a couple times in the NASCAR Busch Series at tracks like Rajama, North Carolina. So it's been really cool to see her race. And Ryan Newman, unfortunately, also, who's not racing, they look really, really fast and arguably one of the favorites coming into this event. He had arguably the fastest top 10 lap average, basically, and they were looking really, really strong. They were almost as good as Larson at points in the practice session yesterday. It's unfortunate they had to go back to the provisional points, because I wish they would have either gone to the practice times of the tournament or something else. I don't like the way they set the lineups. I don't like that because it screws over teams overall. Even qualifying and all that stuff would have basically hurt it overall, and it just sucks that those guys can race. Now, another thing I want to say is NASCAR can't control the weather. I totally understand NASCAR can't control the weather. There's nothing really can do about that, and you can't bring jet dryers out to the racetrack to dry the racetrack because they don't work on dirt. You can use it for pavement, but it's a lot harder. Yes, you can use packers to work on it, but you need lay models out there to try to basically work on the track. And unfortunately, they didn't work out, and unfortunately, no racing tonight in the Truck Series. It really, really sucks. Why does it have to be the most important weekends of the season where we have weather? Why? The Daytona 500, with all the storylines coming, and rain affects it, and ratings hit. We're starting to head back in the right direction for ratings, and this weekend is one of the most anticipated weekends of the year. And unfortunately, the second time we get a rain delay is the second biggest event of the year. The two biggest events of the year have now been affected by rain. Now, I've taken a look at the forecast for the Cup race, and it does look better, but I still got to keep my fingers crossed. But I'm still not 100% positive about it as well. I just want to say, why does Mother Nature have to affect? No, I've been seeing a lot of people saying, oh, this was a bad idea from the beginning. This is a stupid idea. We should have not done this overall. It was really stupid. You got to give NASCAR a chance to try out something new. We should have gone to a real racetrack. You got to give NASCAR a chance to try out something new. And if it doesn't overall work out, it doesn't overall work out. I mean, it is what it is. I'm excited definitely for the event. I've definitely been broken down a little bit, and I heard that we're not racing tonight. And I feel bad for those teams that can't race this evening and can't race later tonight or on Sunday evening, which that's another thing, too, we'll talk about. I really don't get why NASCAR moved the race to Fox Sports 2. It should be on Fox Sports 1. I understand he has some shows going on right there. But I think that one of the biggest Truck Series events here, arguably the biggest one of the season, it should be on Fox Sports 1, especially since, there's a lot of Cup stars who are going to be running that event. That race is going to get really bad ratings. Look, weather is something you really cannot predict. It really is something you can't predict. But I want to come out here and say that the Spring Bristol race, there have been, at least the last few years, since 2014, when they've moved this race around, this race has been affected by rain. Races that happen here in later March, the last 7 years. Let's look at the races that have been delayed. 2014, rain delay. Race doesn't get done until 9 or 10 o'clock. Carl Eggers ends up winning it. 2015, rain delay. Race takes almost as long as 2014. Race gets done around 10 o'clock Eastern that night. 2016, we got lucky. No rain, but that race, I think, was a little bit later in the year, if I'm not mistaken. I think they moved it a little bit farther back in the year. 2017, rain delay. Race gets moved to Monday. 2018, rain delay. Race gets moved back. They started the early portion of the race. They moved the race back to Monday. 2019, I don't think we had rain in 2019, but in 2020, they had the race in May and June, and guess what ended up happening? No rain delay. The race was perfect. I think that this all could have been avoided, though, if they would have moved the race to maybe later in the year, maybe to May or late June. I know the weather is very hard to control. You may end up getting rain here, especially since it's spring. But what I've learned is, I'm not from the Tennessee area, but what I've learned from a lot of people saying is having a race in late March produced a lot of rain delays. And we've had so many rain delays have taken place over the last couple of years, especially in Bristol. That's just my opinion on that. I think if they are going to do this next year, they need to move it closer to the summer and farther away and farther back into the season. Kind of close to where they were in 2020. I think that would have made a smart decision, especially since, we've had rain delays over the last couple of years. Again, I know you can't predict weather from 6 months prior, but I just think that NASCAR needs to change that overall. And I hope, like I said, the race can happen tomorrow and we can see some racing. But it overall is disappointing. I feel bad for everyone because now we also have changes in the rules too for that. I mean, it's unfortunate, but there's really nothing we can do right now. They're going to do the best they can to get the race in. And hey, at least on a positive note, we're going to see Truck and Cup Series doubleheader tomorrow for Bristol. That's at least something exciting. You see the Cup guys race before, hopefully, if the weather holds off, and hopefully the Truck Series guys as well. And then I looked at the weather forecast, and it does look better for the truck race definitely happened. It looks as the day goes on, it does get better. And things can change overall, so we'll have to keep monitoring the forecast. But yeah, it's overall definitely disappointing that there's no race, and I just wish Mother Nature would stop being rude when we have big events like this and stop affecting the outcomes of these races. That's just my honest opinion on that, and I really hope that we can change something, but there's really nothing we can do about it. So anyway, that's going to be it for today's Shorts NASCAR news video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, turn notifications so you're notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support my page as well. Links description below for that, and comment below your thoughts on today's video. What are your thoughts about this whole situation? Do you think NASCAR really should have ever raced on a dirt track altogether? Or do you think that we will be able to get this race in altogether? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like so YouTube can recommend more of these great videos out to you guys. Do that, I greatly and truly appreciate it. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great and awesome NASCAR content. Take care, everybody.